thank y'all for riding with us. This is another episode of Driving While Black podcast. Again, thank y'all for riding with us as we navigate the black experience. What's up, Chuck? How you doing, brother?
Akeem, what's good, man?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, doing better than I deserve, man. How's your week been?
Man, week's been good, man. Personally, it's been crazy and other things, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But, we take it one day at a time.
That's all you can do, man.
That's all we can do.
One day at a time. Welcome to episode 12.
Yes, sir.
Again, thank y'all for riding with us thus far. If it's your first time tuning in, we are a platform for our black and brown people to talk about some of the immediate issues in our community. We use this platform as a form of therapy to kind of talk about the issues going on in our communities. And we want y'all to do the same. We want y'all to get together with your friends and family and talk through, your feelings, talk through some of the trauma that we're facing and things of that nature. But also, not everything is dark. We also want to celebrate our black and brown people as well, lift them up, support them, promote them. And just show all the great things that we're also doing in the community. So again, thank y'all for riding with us. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Do all that good stuff, man. But yeah, it's a lovely Friday morning. It's early as hell.
It's early. Got sleep in my eye.
It's like 7 a.m. So excuse us if the energy's low starting off, but yeah, it's early. It's early.
Yeah, man. But there's been a lot of stuff going on, man.
Man, it's a lot. We've been away for a little minute. Again, like you said, a lot of just personal stuff and just a lot going on. So we've been away for a little bit minute. But there's a lot in that little couple weeks. There's a lot that's been going on, man.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been going on, talking amongst, the black community, things that have happened, stuff you've seen on the news.
Yeah.
Things you hear in other media outlets. I think we should start though with Dark Man X.
DMX. Yes, sir. Rest in peace, man.
Man.
Rest in peace to the dog.
It's crazy. You know what? There's been a lot of rappers that have died within the last few years.
A lot, yeah. Unfortunately.
But DMX was a legend, an icon. He was a real legend.
Right.
These new rappers that have got caught up in stupid stuff and either got killed or whatever the case may be. People are trying to say, they're legends because they died. No, you're not a legend because you die. You're a legend because of the work you put in over time
and the impact. Yeah, I mean they haven't given themselves enough time to become legends. It's something that happens over time for sure.
Right. And they've impacted people. I know before DMX died, there was a lot of videos circulating. Most notably, the one that sticks out to me, I think he was overseas doing a concert. And he's wearing that red...
The jumpsuit.
Yeah. And you look out into the crowd, bro, and you can't even see the end. Yeah. It's like just a wave of people.
Yep.
And it's like that whole entire crowd was rocking.
Oh, for sure.
And not every artist can pull a crowd like that.
Yeah, not at all. And I think just like you said, his impact was crazy. Like when DMX was the hottest, we were kids, right?
Yep.
But we still felt his impact, and we still rocked out to his songs to this day. Even if you go to a club, when that y'all gonna make me lose my mind, you're going crazy. Immediately, there's a lot of records that as kids we grew up on and we remember, and just his style, just his uniqueness, like we was talking, his ad-libs, best ad-libs in the game.
His originality.
His originality and just his story, man, and his struggle. I know it spoke to a lot of people. It was just so real. It was so raw. And yeah, man,
he had a hell of a life,
Yeah.
Even from his childhood, I think he believed was in like foster care or just bouncing around, not really feeling loved.
Yeah.
Just the streets raised him.
Yeah, you remember that he had a reality show on BT. I don't know. I just remember that. I just popped back in my head, but I forget what it was called. but it was on BT. I don't remember how many episodes, but I remember just being glued to it. It was mad. He's an interesting dude, but he was a wild dude, man.
Yeah.
He was a wild. All I remember right now is him like riding an ATV or on his way to go ride ATVs. But yeah, and him talking about how he didn't have a license, but he would still like drive, and wild dude, man, wild dude. But yeah.
Yeah, it's I think after he died, you know, you had a lot of people close to him, you know, come out with little video clips.
Yeah.
And you know, we know about his life and the things that he went through, and a couple things that was notable. I watched the Swiss Beats talk about him. I don't know if you've seen that.
What was he on, like a plane?
It was just kind of like a,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of thing. And he even said before he said it, he was like, you know, I love you, X, sorry, but I got to tell the people. You know, people knew that, you know, DMX had troubles. You know, he was in and out of jail, things of that nature. And what Swiss Beats pointed out was like, DMX went to jail on purpose. He went there to escape his demons. He said he can go to jail or he can go to prison, and he could just sit in solace and just figure himself out.
Yeah.
And he used that, like going back to jail or prison was DMX's form of therapy.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I need to go back there and just get away from all this craziness, my crazy life, and just, you know, chill out for a little bit.
For sure, for sure.
And, you know, you think, you know, the stories came out in the media, oh, DMX in jail, he did this, he did that. But it was like, truthfully, he wanted to go. Yeah. And that's a different mentality to have.
Yeah, and I think I heard someone recently say, and you hear a lot of people say, like, yo, jail was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, because you're able to kind of sit down, kind of eliminate the distractions of the world, and really kind of just be in your thoughts and be in your lonely, and really reflect on, you know, your purpose, and reflect on, you know, the meaning of life, so to speak, and just try to, in DMX's case, escape his demons and rehabilitate and cleanse himself. So yeah, I believe that for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was kind of just made me think about that. Like wow, like he really was going through stuff. And then you would see all kind of videos all over the net of DMX praying for people. You know, I was just, you know, speaking to you earlier about there's a video of him and Nipsey meeting.
Yeah.
You know, and Nipsey introducing himself, and DMX is like, yeah, I know who you are. I know who you are. Introduced all his clique, J Stone, all the guys, and then he did a prayer circle.
Yeah.
You know, and there's many videos of DMX praying, and if you guys get a chance, if you've never seen him, go YouTube DMX praying, yo. It's powerful. Like, you feel it. You know what I mean? Because just his passion, it just goes up and down. And then every time he goes up, it just hits you. It's like, damn, you know? And then Swiss also said DMX prayed for everybody but himself. He helped out everybody knowing he needed the most help.
Right. That might have been what brought him a peace, though, and healing. Is, you know, praying and helping others. Because giving, they always say it's better to give than to receive, right? So a lot of times giving is more fulfilling than, you know, receiving. So that's interesting that he said that.
Yeah, he was like, yo, DMX he was like, anybody's a prophet, DMX is a prophet.
Right.
Because he was the one he was giving all his glory to God and giving all that energy to everybody else.
Right.
So it was flowing through him to everybody. Anybody who's anybody felt it. I don't care if you were white, black, a kid, and an elderly.
For sure.
You felt the passion, you felt the pain. You felt the love, you felt the realness.
And his prayers were fire. Like, he didn't switch up when he was praying either. He was like rapping, like, yo, God, got you right quick. Like, you know, he was the same dude no matter what.
If DMX was a preacher, I'd go to his church.
Oh, for sure.
Easy.
Yeah. He's a unique dude, man. Again, made a huge impact. But it was dope that I think before he left this earth, he was able to do the verses with Snoop.
Yeah.
And he was able to do that. I haven't seen it, but you saw it, right? The Drink Champs interview?
The Drink Champs episode, yeah. He was creating an album.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah, and he said this album that he was creating, he has the most features he's ever had.
Oh, shit.
So there's going to be a posthumous DMX album coming.
I wonder, I think Hov might get on that. I don't know if he was on it before, But I think now that he passed, I think we might hear a Hove and DMX record, because they were kind of like they were coming up at the same time, and there's tons of videos and pictures with them together.
Yep.
So I don't want to say they were close, but they were definitely peers coming up at the same time, and I know there was that competitive. They had a record together too. That record.
Yeah, they had a record or two together.
They had a few records together.
Yeah, but I think just because of their personalities, they weren't like.
They weren't. Yeah.
They weren't clicked up.
Yeah, they weren't clicked up, and at that time, in hip hop, it was very competitive.
Right, in the 90s.
Yeah, so you weren't gonna see that like let's all be friends type of thing. Like most of that, it's that infamous video with the two of them where they're just freestyling.
Right.
So I think it was more of that back in the day. Like, yo, if we're together, let's see who's better.
Yeah.
Let's see who's
Let me
more
see your
elite.
bars. Let's go.
Yeah, but they were close. They had records together. So I think knowing Swiss, of course, if he had an album in the works, that's gonna come out at some point. And I think if you're saying he had the most features, I think they're gonna call Jigga in to bless it. That would be amazing.
I think you got to at that point.
Yeah.
You got to.
That would be tight, man. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. That's gonna be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. But I was gonna ask you, what do you think? Why do you think music? Because of course DMX as a person and a personality, and he's a great artist and rapper, right? But why do you think music touches the world the way it does? More specifically, the black community.
So for me, it's gonna be a personal opinion, but I believe music carries emotion. And emotion is energy. And ultimately, I believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So anything that's energy and motion, it vibrates and resonates with us.
Okay.
So depending on the artist, depending on the genre of music, and that artist putting out that passion, it clicks.
Right.
And it clicks with anybody because we're all, deep down, we're all energy. And when somebody like DMX pushes that passion, that authenticity, that realness, that the highs and the lows, and he puts it in his music and it's real and everybody can connect to it, it just resonates.
Right.
And it's like no matter who you are, you feel it.
Yeah.
Or you know somebody who's going through something, so you recognize it.
Yeah.
And I think with certain artists, with the music, it moves the soul.
Right.
And DMX was definitely one of those artists that moved the soul.
Right.
I actually heard in the same Swiss Beats little thing, he was like, DMX was the only rapper that made gangsters cry.
Slipping and falling will definitely do it to you.
Yeah.
That's like, a record.
You could be the hardest, most thugged out, killer, whatever the case may be, and you will feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Listen to Slippin'.
Yeah.
Or any of his music. Whether it be the highs or the lows, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but same question to you.
It's funny because I was thinking about that, but I never took the time to answer it. But man, you hit the nail on the head. But I think it's just it's a combination of things, right? It's the storytelling. I think when good artists make music, they set out to deliver a message and tell a story. And I think the good artists, they try the best to dig deep, and try to come up with the best story possible and try to really dig from real emotions, whether it be their own personal story or whether it be, the story of the community, whether it be, something their friends or their family are going through. Regardless, I think they're drawing from real inspirations and real stories and real things that everybody are going through. And it's art at the end of the day. It's poetry, it's art. And you put that over, some music, and you put a melody to it. Again, the passion comes through, the energy comes through. It's definitely gonna hit you. It's definitely gonna hit the soul. And that message, if it's traveling through the airwaves and it's all around the world, and I don't know what about music, like, you know, makes you just, it just hits you, you memorize it, you know, it becomes, you know, it's hard for me to memorize things I'm reading, but music is the easiest thing, right? So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like you said, it's the passion, it's the energy, it's the raw, it's the real stories that hit people.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man. So, you know, rest in peace to DMX.
Rest
You
in peace to the
know,
dog.
he's an icon, a legend. He will always be remembered.
Yeah.
His music will live on forever.
Yep.
And, you know, the community will miss him for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I believe before he passed, he got his flowers.
He did.
People bigged him up.
Which is a dope part.
And if, like I said, if you watch the Drink Champs episode, Nori was trying to give him his flowers, and DMX kept like, "Nah, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me." He's like, "No, let me talk about you." And he's like, "No." He's like, "X." He's like, "Yo, you on my show? Like, let me big you up. Let me big you up." And he's like he didn't want to be praised.
Yeah.
And that just shows like his humility, like,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like that type of person, how real he was.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta respect it.
I heard someone say he's immortal. He won't die, because it's like he can't. Someone that makes people that make that big of an impact on the world, and has put out and given that much of themselves to people, they can't really die.
No.
We're gonna continue to see videos. We're gonna continue to hear his music. We're gonna get more music. We're probably gonna get more videos that we haven't seen. So he's not on this earth physically, but he left his mark and impact.
He left his energy here.
He left his energy here, which is, damn, what more can you ask for? That's kind of crazy, right? Because we're all gonna, we're guaranteed death, right? We're guaranteed to leave this earth. What is not guaranteed is you making an impact and an imprint on this earth.
Yep.
So he's made more than an imprint.
Yeah, he left his mark.
Yeah.
He's here.
Right.
You know, so let's switch gears a little bit. Some other things that were in the news.
There's a lot.
Actually, how do you want to start that off? Because there's a few little topics I think we should talk about.
Should we start with just real quick, because I haven't been watching, but the Derek Chauvin case, George Floyd.
So that's going on right now.
Yeah, that's going on right now. I've seen a few clips. I saw the one clip where they were, I guess the prosecution was cross-examining one of the guys that was there, I guess, holding the camera, and they were trying to paint him out, you know, as an angry black man. And they're asking him, did you call him a pussy? Did you say you were going to beat the cop's ass? And he just kept looking over at him. He's like, yep, I said that. Yep. He's like, is that what you heard? Then I said that. Then I probably said
the cameraman that recorded it.
So there was like, you know how there's like just a group of people out there kind of yelling like, yo, you killing them, blah, blah, blah. So he was one of the guys out there just saying, yo, what are you guys doing? You about to kill this man. And of course, he was upset. He was angry, like, you know, and that's what they try to paint him out. He's like, so would you say you're angry? He's like, no, y'all not going to paint me out to be angry. He literally said, I was pleading for life, you know? So I saw that clip, and I like how he stood his ground, and he was just like, yeah, I said that. And he kept looking over at Derek, yeah, I said that. And he's like, I meant it too. You know? But it's funny how they're going to try whatever they can to, you know, I don't know what they're trying to do, justify what he did. I don't know how painting a bystander, you know, an onlooker as an angry person affects
what happened. No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. But, you know, I saw that clip. I read something that said, I saw the clip of, I don't know if it was like the head of the homicide unit or so a high-ranking person in the police department. They asked him, was, you know, Derek Chauvin's actions justified? He's like, absolutely not. They were excessive. That's not what we do. That's not what they're trained to do. It was totally, you know, unreasonable, which I thought was big.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but I actually heard that they were trying to make the case that his foot or his knee wasn't on his neck the whole time. They were trying to say his knee was on his back.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how you can. The video is there.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, there's a couple more videos that came out.
Yeah, I
They
saw a
showed
few more
him.
videos.
They showed him in the store, and he looked antsy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I saw a video, like a closer up video. I guess it was from another cop's body cam.
When they were putting him in the car.
No, he was on the ground with his knee on his neck, but you saw him like pulling while his hands were in cuffs. He was like pulling his hands up. So essentially, it put his, I guess, by pulling his hands up, pulling his body up, you're ultimately putting more pressure
force,
on his neck. So it's literally, the angle's a little weird, but it's like based on what he was doing, it's like you were legit trying to kill this man. There's really no reason for you to, and mind you, there was 3 officers on this man.
Nope.
There was 3 officers on, or I think 4 maybe. A combined weight of almost 300 pounds. And you have your knee on his neck. He's saying, I can't breathe. I'm going to die. He's crying out for his mom. And on top of that, you're pulling his hands up. It's like, how much pain and suffering did you want to put this guy in? But, yeah, so that case is going on right now. And it sucks just to everyone saw HD, you know, it's clear as day. You know, everyone's getting, at least, you know, people from the actual police department are coming on the stand and saying, yo, what he did was unreasonable, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's still, at least for black people, we've been down this road. We can't call it. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because the way these trials go out, they try to get these little intricate details to try to lessen the sentence. And what is he right now? He's 2nd-degree manslaughter? Is that is that his sentence?
I'm not 100% sure on the sentence.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, probably 2nd degree though.
I know it's not 1st. It was 3rd, and they upgraded to 2nd, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's unfortunate. And during the trial, there was actually that same police department actually killed another black man.
Say that again, what?
That same police department, as the trial was going, actually killed another black man. That was Dante
Wright.
Dante Wright.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's crazy in itself.
That happened, what, last week or this week?
I want to say last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, everybody in the police department is aware.
Police department.
That's what I'm hearing. It's the same police
I knew
department.
it was Minneapolis. I didn't know it was the same police department.
That may not be facts, but from what I've heard, it's the same police department.
Okay.
But regardless, every, you know, police department in that city, in that state, knows what's going on.
Right, for sure.
So it's like, that's in the back of your mind. So for, you know, police officers to still kill unarmed black people, it's just like, do you not see what's going on? You know, you familiar with the story and what happened, or you know what's going on with that?
I honestly, how did I hear about that? I think I just saw it on. I sent the video to you, right? What I saw it on my Instagram. It was like a live video they were doing.
Oh yeah, you sent me the protest.
Yeah, the protest, and I think they were protesting. Well, that girl came in from another city or another state to protest the Chauvin case.
Right.
And while I think they were out protesting, that literally happened like in real time. Like, yo, they just shot this kid. And you know when you're watching something and you're like, yo, is this old? Like, is this real? Like, I'm like, there's no way. And I sent that to you. And honestly, bro, when I hear these stories now, I don't want to read into it.
Right.
I don't want to see the video. You know what I mean? Because it's like, how many times, you know, are we going to hear about this stuff?
Right. And I'm glad you made that point because I think what gets lost in all the back and forth between people who see that it's, you know, wrong and then people that see that it's justified on the police's part.
Yeah.
It's what's missing is, you know, a lot of people say, well, there's white people get killed by the police all the time, but that doesn't fit the narrative. But it's like, okay, if that's the case, why don't they put those videos out?
Right.
At the end of the day, they're putting out black people being murdered by the police, and we're almost forced to watch it because it circulates through social media. So we're literally watching a public lynching every other week, every other month, every couple months.
Right.
And it affects you.
Right.
It gets you to the point, it's like, it's depleting, it's depressing. It's like, another one, are we serious?
Yeah.
And I don't think people take into the account of the mental health that's going on amongst the black community in regards to constantly seeing these public lynchings and how it affects us. And, you know, with this whole case, you know, Dante Wright, I keep wanting to say Watson. Dante Wright, you know, he was getting handcuffed, and okay, let's take it back. So apparently he was originally pulled over because he had too many
expired tags.
Yeah, expiring tags, but I guess what's been put out there is he had too many air fresheners on his rearview window. Yeah. Rearview mirror. So yes, it is illegal to have things hanging from your rearview mirror. So if you're going to pull somebody over for that, if it wasn't the expired tags or not, I don't know if that's confirmed or not. That's kind of like, all right, driving while black, right? I see a bunch of things in your rearview mirror. I'm looking at you. All right, let's pull them over. Right. Expired tags or not, right? Sure. And even if it was expired tags, why is Dante Wright being told to get out the car? You know, if he's getting arrested, okay, he's getting arrested. But also you got to think of it, Dante Wright is 20 years old. Yeah. He's been alive these last 5-6 years. He's seen all the videos. Right. He knows what happens when, you know, the fear that people get when they get pulled over, especially when they're told to get out the car. Yeah. Well,
I read that they said he had a warrant out for his arrest, which, and I'm just mentioning that because that's what I read and what was said. And for me, that's why sometimes I don't even like read into the story and the case, because they're going to do all that, right? They're going to say, well, he was resisting arrest. He had a warrant for his arrest. He was being, like, they're going to come up with they're going to create the narrative that, you know, what they did was justified.
Always.
But when we see and hear stories like this, all we see and know that is another black person is dead. An unarmed a black person at that point, right? Yep. And it's like, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Right. The life.
How it led up to that doesn't really matter. Police's jobs are to de-escalate situations, not to pull somebody over for expired tags or air fresheners in the window and then kill somebody. Right. But yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, like you said, they're supposed to de-escalate the situation. So I watched the video. It took me a couple days. Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, let me just watch it, right? So during the video, the female officer is been on the force for about 25 years. So she's an experienced officer. Yeah. She's an experienced officer. She's like the head of like the police union or some crazy shit like that.
She's a big dog. Yeah. She's a big dog.
And apparently she was training officers that day. In that moment, she was actually training.
So she's training on top of that. So they have him on the side of the car, and they're about to put cuffs on him. His hands are behind his back. And then for some reason, he decided to jump back in his car. Yeah. Right? We all know, like, that's what they're going to point at. Well, why did he try to get back in his car, right?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, that's beside the point. Right. You're close enough to where you could just grab him. Right. If that's the case. If you want to arrest him, just grab him. But immediately, this woman pulls out her pistol and says, taser, 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 says it 3 times. And she's aiming at his body because his body's kind of like this in the car. So all this is open. Yeah. She's like, taser, taser, taser. Pop, pop, pop. Shoots him 3 times. So in that 2-3 seconds.
So this is you watching the video?
This is me watching the video. And I'm like, within that 2-3 seconds, when she's pulling out her gun,
can you see her gun as she's pointing it?
You can see the gun in the video because it's a body cam.
Yeah.
You hear her say, taser, 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 right? By the time you say that, first of all, if you're a 25-year experience, you should know the difference between the feel of a Glock and a taser.
And a taser, yeah.
When you're shooting your gun, you're an experienced officer, you're going to look through the iron sights to shoot. You're not just going to pull out and start blasting.
Right.
That's not how you're trained.
Right.
So you look through the sights and you yell taser, 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 and you shoot 3 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know how tasers work, but in my mind, you only need to shoot a taser once. I don't know if tasers have multiple, mechanisms to fire. So she shot 3 times. So if that's the case, and you can only shoot a taser once, she shot 3 times. So that's just weird to me. On top of that, you have to take the safety off.
Yeah.
Right? So by her saying I made a mistake, yes, you did make a mistake.
You made a big mistake.
You made a huge mistake. You killed somebody on accident. And
I'm not even gonna give her that scapegoat. I don't think it was on accident.
No, that's just in her words.
In her
it's
words.
A mistake. I did it as a mistake.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you've been an officer for 25 years. You have been trained, and now you have trainees. And you made the mistake. So because you were trained for that amount of years, you should be held to the highest standard.
For sure.
Regular civilians aren't trained. A normal civilian walking down the street is not well versed in the law.
Right.
But you are.
Right.
You have these safety protocols. You've been through the trainings. You're training people, and you still make a mistake. You should be held to the higher standard.
1,000%.
You should have the highest consequence possible
1,000%.
because of your mistake.
1,000%.
And that's all I really got to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate, and it's unfortunate that it's like a different messed up story every time. It's like the fact that she's saying it was a mistake. It's like, how do you even process that? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you say to that? Like, it was a mistake. You've been an officer for 26 years. Your gun, I believe, from what I read, your gun is on your dominant side, so that you realize the difference. The taser's bright yellow, I'm guessing, so you can make the distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many things. Again, she, like you said, if she's holding the gun and yelling taser, you should realize that, oh shit, it's not my taser. Second, why do you need to pull out a taser? It's just like so many things that I think are just wrong with the way these people are trained, especially in that city. Because we have Falada Castile.
Mm-hmm.
We have George Floyd, and we have this case now, and we had that case that we talked about a few episodes ago, Muhammad Noor, who was the Somalian American police officer that killed a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how he ended up killing the woman, but he ended up killing the woman. But he served time behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's still serving time, but he got convicted to like 12 years. So it just sucks because when an officer makes a mistake, it costs somebody their life. It causes, a mother and a father to lose their kid, and it just hurts that person's family and friends and a community, man. It's just like, imagine living in Minneapolis right now.
I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine a police officer killing my kid and then saying, "Oh, I made a mistake." Like, what?
And then, knock on wood, God forbid, hopefully this doesn't happen. And then that officer being able to resign and walk free. And I seen a video yesterday. The police put like a makeshift, they put like barricades and put like fencing up, and like makeshift like pavement around her house. And, police officers are obviously standing out of it. And then there was people like taking pictures and, recording. And one of the guys said, "Can I ask you a question?" He's like, "How come you guys offer this much protection for a murderer?" And then he's like, "Well," and he's like, if I murdered somebody, would you guys offer this level of protection? For like, would you come to my house and offer this stuff? And he's like, yeah, 100%. It's like, nah.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
I'd be immediately taken to jail.
Right.
And booked.
Right. And it's just like, I don't know. I think what they can do. And then I heard him say, like, I understand y'all's frustration. Y'all have every right to be mad, this, that, and the third. And if that's the case, if y'all understand our frustration and you know this is unacceptable, this is an error on the cops' part and the police department and everything like that, let's move the shit along. Let's charge her. Let's sentence her, and let's move on. Let's see some justice. If you understand where you guys fucked up and how the public and your city is feeling.
Right, and that should be automatic. That's
right.
all. That's all that people want is justice.
Yeah.
Don't allow your officers to accidentally, by mistake, kill someone.
Right.
And then let them walk.
Right.
And just give them a pat on the butt. Oh, they made a mistake.
Right.
Like, no.
Right.
That's not how. That person's a human being too. They need to be put in the system. Need to be tried, charged, sentenced, just like every other person.
Right.
You got hired to do a job. You knew the risks.
Right.
You still took the job. Being feared for your life in certain situations shouldn't be a determining factor of why it was a mistake. Oh,
right.
I feared for my life. I had to kill him.
Right.
I had to shoot.
Right.
Okay, well, if you look at the video, did you really have to shoot?
Right.
So at that point, the officer escalates the situation. So it's clear as day in video, so just charge the person. Sentence them.
Yeah.
Give them the proper consequence.
Right.
Because you would give every other regular civilian that same consequence with no second thought.
Right.
And it's interesting, the first, as soon as the story gets out, you get a day of, hysteria. Then the second day, here come little tidbits. Okay, well, this happened. So they're slowly trying to justify it. The first thing I heard was the officer was not experienced. It was like she was on the force for a couple years. That was, I guess, debunked right away. Then it was, oh, well, Minneapolis Police Department was defunded. What do you expect? Okay. But now it comes out she was on the force for 25 years. So all those little things that they try to throw out there to try to justify what happened.
Yeah.
Now what can you say?
Right. Can't say anything.
Can't say anything.
And I don't really want to hear anyone try to come to the defense of the police. Yeah, we understand the police's jobs is hard. It's a lot of quick decisions that you got to make on the fly. Yes, it's a lot of adrenaline and you may fear for your life and things of that nature. Bro, you signed up for this job. You are supposed to go through the proper training. You have people's lives in your hands. I think it's just not a time for it. And I've seen it in the past, you have people that have family members that are cops, so when they feel like cops are being attacked in the media, they feel like they have to come to people's their friends and family's defense. But it's like, it's not the time, bro. When someone's life has been lost for no reason, it's not the time to come to the defense of a police officer who made a mistake.
No.
Well, but you don't. No. A family is grieving because they lost a 20-year-old child. And apparently his kid and his wife was in the car, or girl, or whatever.
No. Right. And the thing is, like you said, you can't have empathy for them when they made a mistake, because then when they come out and say, oh, well, he had an outstanding warrant.
Right.
Okay, well, he made a mistake. He has a warrant. He made a mistake.
Right.
Why does he deserve to die?
It's like, and this is another thing that happened. It's just very hypocritical. That sergeant, there's a video circulating of that sergeant that was bullying that young black kid for walking in the neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. And you have this big sergeant, white dude, super built, super muscular, and you have this skinny, black kid. He might have been 16, 17 years old.
Looked like he weighed $130.
Looking like he couldn't hurt a fly. Was being very respectful, calling the guy sir, calling the woman ma'am, just saying. And he was basically bullying him, saying, yo, why are you in my neighborhood? You've been walking around here for 15 minutes. I need you to leave my neighborhood. You don't live around here. Assuming that the kid didn't live around there when he actually did. Mm-hmm. And he was basically saying, yo, why are you bothering me? I'm just walking. This is not a crime. I do live in this neighborhood. Like, what's the problem? And he pushed him. He was getting up in his face, calling him motherfucker, like you in the wrong. All of that, right? And he was questioning him, like, where do you live? You don't live here, blah, blah, blah. And the kid was like, I do live here. And then he was like, where? He's like, I live here.
Yeah, like, we'll walk you home.
Right, we'll walk you home. And then the kid was like, how long have you been in this community for? How long have you lived here for? And then automatically he's like, why does that matter to you? Why are you asking me that? You don't need to know that. It's like, bro, but
you could do that to me.
But you could do that to me? And as soon as I question you, why does that matter? He literally said, why does that matter to you? Why does it matter to you? And that's the thing. It's just like, it's so hypocritical. Back to your point, it's like, all right, she made a mistake. All right, the kid's a 20-year-old kid. He has a warrant out for his arrest. He made a mistake. He jumped back in his car when he maybe shouldn't have. He made a mistake. That doesn't mean that it should cost him his life. And I feel like it doesn't take a PhD to realize when we talk about race in this country, y'all just moving to go, like y'all just being very hypocritical. Like, and it's clear as day. So the fact that people still want to get on social media and still create these narratives in the news and come to defense in the aid of the police, and bro, I don't want to see and hear any of that shit. I don't want to hear and see any of that shit, bro. And I understand that you may have family members that are police officers or whatever the case is, but you have to, at this point, be able to see outside of your surroundings and your community and your family and your friends and realize that there's other people that are hurting and that are being treated unjustly. Like, I don't want to hear anything about, oh, he had a warrant. Bro, I honestly, if I hear that, I'm going to cuss somebody out, honestly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's getting to that point.
It's ridiculous. Like, they always try to dig up something to justify this person being killed, but then you're going to say, well, the cop made a mistake. Like, how do you think these kids, how do you think these young men, these women, how do you think they got the warrant? How do you think they, you know what I mean? They have a record, or they stole Skittles from the store. Like,
right.
they made a mistake. They're children. I'm pretty sure every officer made a mistake when they were kids. Everybody's made a mistake.
Everyone's made a mistake.
Except some got caught and had to suffer the consequences, and some didn't.
Right.
But none of this justifies killing somebody. It doesn't justify murder.
Right. Right.
You're a trained professional. You did what you were not trained to do.
Right.
Hopefully, they're not trained to, do these things. We're not there.
Right.
But there's no way. Okay. Another thing that kind of gets me is the perception of black people. When you say this black person had a warrant, or this black person committed a crime in the past, and this person may be 20 years old, maybe 18, maybe 16. Yo, do you realize these are kids? Regardless of their age,
right,
they're still kids. They're not fully matured.
Right.
Right? So how are you going to hold them to this high standard when they're just in the world trying to figure it out like everybody else?
Right.
Yeah, they may come from a not so great home. Maybe they have figures in their life that may be dibbling and dabbling in the wrong things, but that person's trying to figure it out. If he had a warrant for his arrest, he made a mistake. None of that justifies murder. None of that justifies a mistake.
Right. And we've seen the videos, right? We've seen the videos of white people getting pulled over by the police and nothing happening. There's a video of a white guy being pulled over, and he was basically saying, yeah, I'm not getting out the car. I know my rights, this, that, and the third. He's like, yo. And they were pleading. The officers were pleading with him, like, please just comply. Please just come out the car. We don't want to have to do this to you. Please, please, please. To the point where he said, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm driving off. And drove off.
Yeah. They give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right? We there's videos of white people holding assault rifles
To the police. They don't get shot.
to the police. There was a video of a guy holding a knife and a hammer. Like we've seen. So
attack the police with the knife.
Where are all these videos that people claim if white people get killed at the hands of the police at a higher rate than black people? Where are these videos? Where are these videos? And 9 times out of 10, the videos that we've seen, if that person happened to get shot, it'd be more justified because they were actually looking to inflict harm on the police officer or someone else.
Right.
And they actually had a weapon. This kid didn't even have a weapon. Like, it's again, it's the hypocrisy, and it's the double standard, and it's like, that's why again, I'm tired of seeing people cape for the police, because we understand all the shit that police have to go through. We understand that. But when we see the inequality of how the police treat black and brown people, black people versus white people, that's what we have a problem with. It's not the fact that they had to make a high pressure decision and they made the wrong one. It's not the fact that, this resulted in whatever. It's the fact that it only happens to black people, and it's the fact that when it happens, there's no justice behind it when black people are concerned.
No, it's almost like in the eyes of the white communities that black people are automatically second-class citizens and automatically have 2 strikes against them.
Right. So it's the thing is, like, we wouldn't have an issue. I mean, we would, of course. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Dante Wright. His life was lost. Condolences to the family. But if what happened, she made a mistake. All right, cool. You made a mistake. Unfortunately, or fortunately, you gotta reap the consequences. Go to jail, and let's move on.
And that's it.
The issue lies in: are they gonna hold her accountable? Is she gonna go to jail, or is it another instance and case where you can shoot a black person on camera and live to tell about it? So now I ask you, how is this gonna stop or end if we keep seeing black people get shot and killed on camera at the hands of the police, and they are able to resign and collect their pension? People that just want to retire and collect their pension are just going to go out and start killing black people then.
If it's that easy.
Oh, I just got to kill a black person and I could just resign it? All right.
Yeah, it's sad, and I hear the argument, right? People are saying, well, if the whole police, brutality, police killings keeps going on in the media over time, eventually the police will be replaced by robots. And then the argument is, then what can you say? Because the robots don't see race. Okay, you're right. They don't see race. So what happens when a white dude acts a fool, like we see on video, to the police,
right,
and that white cop gives him empathy? That robot's not going to give him empathy. So don't be quick to say, well, the robot's going to still do the same thing. To black people, like, no, the robot's going to treat everybody the same. So if they're going to treat us like that, they're going to treat y'all like that.
And I don't even think that will happen either.
Who's to say in the next 20 years?
You can program a robot to have bias, 1,000%.
True.
Who's training these robots? Who's making
who's programming them? Right.
If it's the same institutions and people that are the heads of the police forces, who's to say it won't be the same shit?
Very true.
Right. So, man, I mean, I expect these institutions to uphold racism. I just don't want to see nobody on my social media coming with the bullshit, honestly.
No, and unfortunately, the area I went to school at, I see a lot of that bullshit, and it's draining. And it's like, why am I even like friends with y'all, like on Facebook? Like, I don't talk to you in real life,
right?
Like, but I'm friends with you on Facebook or social media because we went to school together. And it just goes to show, like, they really don't give a fuck. They really don't give a fuck about
claim
you.
to be like God-fearing Christians and Catholics and religious people, and it's like
law-abiding citizens, stand-up folks.
Right. Y'all think this is what you're doing in these moments? You think God is looking down on you and saying, yeah, y'all doing the right thing.
Right. Like, no.
Y'all stand by your bullshit. Like, come on, man. Let's wake up, man. Let's be human beings. Let's have compassion and empathy for other people.
That's it right there. They're not being human beings.
Yeah,
they're following man-made laws and abiding by them.
Some devilish shit.
It's like, yo,
y'all
these are
like
human beings being killed,
right?
And you're gonna justify it. Like, right. What do you think? Like exactly. What do you think? What do you think the creator of all this is really saying to you? Like,
right.
You know, you're going along with the bullshit. And on another hand, there will be situations where you'll see these white people be pissed off at the law and want to, you know, get together and start militia groups and, you know, with the whole storming the Capitol.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck about the police when they stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
But they only give a fuck about the police when it benefits them.
Right. Right.
But when it doesn't benefit them, they'll do the same. They'll beat up the police. They'll do everything and more.
Right.
Than black people will do.
Right. Yeah.
But they get a pass.
Yeah. So it's just like, yo, be human at the end of the day. At the end of the day, whatever the details are and however this shit transpired, at the end of the day, what we know is a black young kid lost his life, and there's now a family and a city and a community grieving because of it. Just acknowledge that. Don't acknowledge the rest of the bullshit. Just acknowledge that part of it. You know what I'm saying? And just be a fucking human being, man. Stop being a fucking robot. Stop trying to protect your whiteness because you feel like it's being attacked.
Yeah, like, that shows fragility, yo.
Come on, like, y'all is on some bullshit. And if I see one of y'all motherfuckers post some bullshit on social, I am gonna cuss y'all out. And not strangers, because I don't give a fuck about strangers. If I see if I see somebody I know post some bullshit, I'm gonna have to cuss you out. I'm gonna have to hop in your DMs and block your ass, because at this point, it needs to be called out. It needs to be stopped in its tracks. We ain't going for this shit no more. It's not a debate no more, bro.
No.
And
it's clearly the line has been drawn, and no matter the situation, you're gonna be on that side regardless.
Right. And we could even take race out of it if you want. It's not even. It is about race, but it's also just about. At this point, if she's saying she made a mistake, it's about the police. For a cop to say, "Yo," I've never even heard that before. A cop saying, "Yo, I made a mistake." She's not even saying, "Yo, it was the heat of the moment. I was scared for my life." She's literally saying, "Yo, I just picked the wrong weapon."
Oops.
So at this point, with that being said, it is a police training issue.
Or a police training issue, or just the people you decide to join the force. Like, don't you vet certain people and have certain qualifications to get in the force and then go through the training?
Right.
The type of people they're selecting.
Right, exactly. You're not, like, what kind of mental training are they putting these people through if they can't even decipher between a taser and a fucking gun? A fucking 2-year-old can decipher between a taser and a gun. And you're telling me a 26-year-old, a cop that was on the force for 26 years, that is, in that moment, was training 2 other cops? I know when I'm at work and I'm a manager and I'm a sales manager and I'm training I'm on an extra point.
Right, you gotta be.
Because I'm training, I'm teaching somebody.
I's are dotted, T's are crossed to the T. So there should be no mistakes.
So for you to make that level of mistake is unexcusable. And again, we could take race out of it. It's just a policing issue. So again, for these people that want to cape and come to the cops' aid, I'm not here for it. Y'all can go kick rocks. You'll probably get cussed out. It's some bullshit.
Yeah, straight up. You know, and on the subject of police killing, another story, I guess, was that happened in December, but the family pushed for the video to come out in Chicago.
Oh, happened in December?
I think it happened in December. But a 13-year-old boy was shot and killed by the police. I seen that video too. And apparently he was in an alley with a 21-year-old cat. Police ran up. They dispersed. The kid was running down the alley. Cop was chasing him. And then there's a break in the fence. And it looks like the kid went to one side of the fence, could have possibly put something on that side of the fence, in fear, like, oh, let me get rid of this. Turned around immediately. The cop was like, put your hands up. Turns around, put his hands up. Boom, instantly shot.
Yeah.
In the clip, it's literally like 1/10 of a second. Like, as soon as the kid turns around, he's shot. So it's like, the officer's telling him, put your hands up. And that's exactly what he did. He complied, and he still was shot and killed.
Yeah.
13 years old.
Crazy.
13 years old.
A black kid?
He was, I think he was Mexican. And regardless, it's a child. This kid was born in 2008. He was born in 2008.
Right.
It's in Chicago. Yeah, Chicago has a reputation for gangs and things like that. But as a 13-year-old, when a police officer's chasing you and you're running, you're scared.
Oh, for sure.
If you have a weapon on you, you're scared.
1,000%.
You're not thinking, oh, I'm going to turn around and use this weapon on the police. As a 13-year-old, I'm scared. I want to run as fast as I can, and I want to get rid of this, and hopefully they don't find it. Bro, I'm not thinking of inflicting harm.
Yeah. I was at work yesterday. I was closing up with one of my other coworkers, and she was in my office, thankfully, and she was talking to me. And literally, we had customers walk out the door, and then literally all we hear is like 2 seconds later, get down, please, get down. And we look up, and we see lights flashing outside, and fucking cops just come running down the hallway past my office. And in that moment, we were fucking scared. We were like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And they literally ended up tackling a guy in our office for whatever reason. But I say that to say, and there was like 20 cops that showed up, a bunch of police cars, even a detective showed up. I'm like, all this people for like one person? Kind of crazy. But I say that to say, we weren't even involved in anything.
And you still felt it.
And we were scared. We still felt it. Our adrenaline was up. So imagine if you're the one being chased. If you imagine, and she mentioned like, I ain't trying to get shot. Like to the point where they handcuffed the guy. They put him in the police car. They were gone. They kind of hung out for a little bit. They were like kind of laughing, recounting the story, whatever. And mind you, they didn't even tell us what was going on. They just kind of left and whatever. So
Did
now,
that no explanation of
no explanation. The guy one of the cops came back in and said, is this, I guess there was like glasses on the floor, sunglasses. Like, is this one of your sunglasses or is it the guy's? And we're like, yeah, that's not ours. And he's like, okay. And then just walked out. And what's funny is one of the cops that initially came, it was like 2 cops that ran in. It was a skinny black dude, and we were in the office to the point where I'm like, yo, I told my coworker, I'm like, yo, close the door so no one could like run in or whatever. And then, but there's like a glass window, so I guess when they arrested him and put him in cuffs, the black officer came and walked by, and he looked at us, and he was like he was kind of signaling like everything's cool, everything's okay. And I think he did that because he knew.
You were feeling some type of way.
We were like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And he's the only person, there was like 20 cops, bro. He was the only cop that acknowledged us to any degree. Like, in the cops' minds, the building could have been vacant. Because they really didn't address us. It was like we weren't even there.
Sorry for, buzzing down your doors and arresting this cat, but, we had to do it. Like, nothing, right?
And nothing, except for the one Hispanic officer saying, yo, is this one your glasses? We're like, nah, and just walked off. And then that one, you could tell he was like a rookie cop, skinny black dude, and he just kind of, to put us at ease, he was just like, everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, damn, that's kind of crazy. And then my coworker left, and I was left behind. And she's like, yo, they're still in the alleyway, the cops and someone else. And then I'm like, oh, shit, okay, let me go out and lock up. And then she's like, please, when you walk outside, just, like, put your hands in the air. Because, again...
Y'all have to put your hands in the air?
Because she's basically saying, we're both black, so she's basically saying, yo...
Just to be sure.
Just to be sure, put your hand... You know what I'm saying?
I work here.
Bro, we at work. We have nothing to do with the situation, and we are still fearful for our lives.
That's sad, man. Like, we shouldn't have to do that.
Like, imagine that.
Like, I have to make sure, hey, I'm not a threat. I work here.
I'm at work.
I'm just trying to move to the next office.
Right.
I'm just trying to go grab, and go. Like, what?
Right.
Like, we shouldn't have to feel like that.
And come to think about it, isn't that, like, almost a hazard? Like, shouldn't you want to know who else is in the building? Because if I do come out, you might think, oh, I thought you was maybe...
With that person.
Right. Shouldn't you want to know, okay, you work here, you all right, cool. So when you see me again, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it just seems like, I don't know. It just seems, but anyways, I'm on a tangent. I just bring that up to say, yo, I'm not even involved in the situation, and I'm scared, and I'm fearful for my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So like you said, imagine somebody who is that target.
Right.
And is chasing. Like I said, that 13-year-old boy, I'm pretty sure he's no threat. If he had a weapon and he's running away, he's not a threat. Period.
Right.
So for you to have your weapon drawn and shoot, and you kill this little kid, it's just sad, man.
Yeah,
it's black and brown people don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Even children, women.
Even children. Even fucking active military. We saw that video of the black dude, traffic stop. And,
oh, yeah.
And I don't know his name, but he was literally like, yo, why am I feel very uncomfortable right now. He's like, I'm very nervous because I don't know why y'all are applying this much pressure and force. Like, you're saying it's a traffic stop. What happened? What did I do? He was confused. He was like, literally, yo, I'm active duty. And they're like, what's your rank? Or something shit like that. He said, like, I'm a lieutenant or something like that, or sergeant, or whatever he said. But he's like, yo, these are my hands. Like, can y'all just talk to me? And they're literally guns drawn, yelling at him. And it was interesting because I saw Charlemagne, the God on the Breakfast Club, was commenting on the video. And the cop said something like lightning rod or iron or something of that nature. And Charlemagne was like, what is he saying? What does that even mean? Because he said something like, he's like, I think the guy said, what are you going to do? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, you're going to feel the lightning rod. And Charlemagne's like, what is that even? And my wife was like, that's something they say in the South, like, you're going to, like, get the electric chair or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
For what?
Like, that's a saying.
That's, I seen the video, and apparently, like, they couldn't see his temporary tag in the window. You know, when you buy a car, you have the temporary tag in the front and the back. So it was dark, apparently, when they decided to pull him over.
Yeah.
But he said, okay, well, let me just keep driving to go to a place that's well lit.
Yeah.
So he pulled in, he kept driving, he pulled into a gas station, and that's when they came at him, guns drawn.
But why does guns have to be drawn, bro? So I know because I work in the car business, if cops suspect or if a car is reported stolen, they're coming out guns drawn. I know that for a fact. They're not really there to ask you questions. They're guns drawn. So that would be the only justifiable reason why they have guns drawn and they're applying that force is because they have not a suspicion. They have an actual report saying this specific car has been reported stolen. But they didn't say that.
Right.
They just said he was saying, yo, what did I do? They weren't saying anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it didn't seem like that's what it was at all because they would have mentioned something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And like you said, he had full army fatigue on.
Yeah.
It's like once you see that, I'm pretty sure somebody who is active in the military, is just active period, is not out here doing any fuck shit.
Bro, wouldn't you feel at ease if you see that? If I'm a cop, I'll be like, oh man, you one of us, man. let me put this away.
Yeah, like, my bad, we just thought,
My bad, man. You was,
But no, they applied the pressure. They told him to get out the car, and he's like, my hands are up. I'm scared.
Right.
Like, I don't want it. Because imagine, get out the car. Now you can't see my hands.
Yeah.
Shots fired. Oh, I couldn't see his hands.
Right.
Can you open my door? Can you take off my seatbelt?
I don't want to unbuckle my seatbelt.
Yeah, because as soon as you guys don't see my hands, I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, and you could tell the cop on the side of the car was like, again, looked like a young kid, like rookie. He was the guy pointing the gun directly at him seemed like a little bit more, he was older and he seemed a little bit more senior. You could even tell the guy on the side of the car, he's like, yo, like, this is kind of...
Like, yo, this is what we doing?
Yeah, this is kind of... I'm going with it, but this is kind of crazy, bro. Like, what are you doing? I remember, that brings me to a story. Like, I remember one night in Toronto, it was TIFF. It's like a movie festival that they have.
Okay.
So there's like different parties going on in the city, and one of my boys I work with, he's like, yo, can you do me a favor? Can you do security for this one party? Right? And it's just like a part, like, it's like not real security, like you're in like a suit and like, you're just there.
Right. Just to make sure people don't go crazy.
And then the other security guard was this big ass buff black dude, bro. Cool dude. But this cop, this security guard is just like being a tough guy. Like picture me in a full out brawl in a restaurant with people because of this guy. And I'm just like, yo, I gotta hold it down and back him up because I'm there to do that. But in my head, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, like, you being extra right now.
Like, you just picking on people and fighting people because you've been in the gym. Like, you need to relax, bro. This is not my profession, bro. This is like, I'm here for like a couple hours.
I'm doing a favor.
I'm doing a favor for a couple hours. You need to relax. But that's how that cop looked. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
bro, like they put on any type of like badge or have any type of weapon, and they just feel like they're just top flight security of the world. Like, like they, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why do you feel the need to puff your chest out and dominate somebody?
And my thing is, what's the excuse in that moment? Is you couldn't have feared for your life. He's a fucking active duty lieutenant. You really feared for your life?
Luckily, he didn't get shot. But that video just goes to show you it don't matter.
And I seen that meme where it's like, okay, if this is disrespecting the military when it was Kaepernick kneeling,
right?
What the fuck is this?
Right.
So now all y'all Kaepernick haters, disrespecting the flag, and what do y'all got to say?
Right.
When police are acting like this towards active duty.
They don't. It's just because he's black.
Yeah.
You can take off that fatigue. You're still black.
It's funny because like we've seen every scenario play out, and we've seen every form of hypocrisy challenged. Where it's like, what are you dumb motherfuckers that are coming up with these rebuttals or whatever you want to call it? What do you have to say now? Like, what dumb excuse or justification are you going to come up with now? I'd love to hear it now. Y'all at this point just look slow. Like, y'all look like...
You look racist.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, just say it. He's black.
You look like you have a mental disability. You can't comprehend some of these concepts.
We're not human to them.
Like, that's what it looks
don't
like.
Matter.
Y'all look like y'all have some type of mental disability.
It's crazy.
Well, no, it's disrespecting the flag. Well, no, he was scared for his life. Well, he had a warrant. Well, he didn't comply. Well, what?
Just stop it. Stop it.
Just stop
it, yo. Like, why can't it be what it is? Why does it always have to be some justification, some other thing that makes it okay? Like, this shit's not okay.
And stop feeling like you have to. I think for some people are just racist, right? And then I think for some people, they just feel like their whiteness is being attacked and they have to protect it at all costs, and they just feel like they have to be on the defense. It's like, bro, it's okay. No one's attacking you personally. It's okay to not always have to feel like you have to protect your whiteness.
And that's exactly what they do. I had a message. I commented on a post that somebody I know who's white, I believe, said. He was like, why should my son, because he's white, have to take the responsibility of what happened in the past? And I'm like, yo, like, I didn't even want to get into it. I'm like, yo, like, really? Like, nobody is holding current everyday white people accountable for slavery, Jim Crow, segregation. We want the system to change. The everyday white person is not held accountable.
Yeah, live your life.
The everyday white person just has to acknowledge that, yeah, that was fucked up. These traumas were passed down. Certain things were passed down. Black people are not, we did not get a head start in the race because of these things. It's not that the everyday white person has to take accountability. It's no, join us in changing the system. That's all it is.
But even let's say, and you're right, but let's say even if white people do have, even if your son does have to take accountability, why are you playing a victim to that? Oh, but man, why does my son have to take accountability for all the fucked up shit that my ancestors did? Okay. Why does black kids are dying in the street because of all the fucked up shit your ancestors did?
Yeah.
So which consequence is worse?
Bro, your ancestors created the perception of black people that we live today.
Right. So what's worse? Your kids taking accountability, which would ultimately improve and change the problem, or black kids getting killed in the streets? Who's at a disadvantage there? Stop fucking crying, bro. What the fuck you crying about? My kids have to take accountability. Who gives a fuck? No one gives a fuck.
All it is acknowledge what happened.
No one feels sorry for you, bro.
And let's be together and move forward to change the shit. But the fact that you're continuously fighting, like, you want to talk about separation. You're trying not to move forward. You want to keep things how they are. You actually want to move backwards. You want to make America great again.
Yeah, your kids don't have to take accountability, but you got to take accountability for your dumbass comments. That's what it is.
It's just crazy.
Just don't say anything.
Why comment?
Just don't say anything, bro, and it'll be fine. The problem is, again, black people are being killed and marginalized and criminalized and treated unjustly. The system doesn't reprimand the people that are doing it. The system perpetuates and encourages this behavior. And then on top of it, the white people that claim they're not racist and are not part of the problem are making stupid ass comments and justifying the bullshit. If y'all just shut the fuck up, maybe we got this. We don't need y'all. The problem is y'all are coming out and saying stupid shit like that.
And it's like, what do you say to that?
So now we need white people to be like, yo, go check your homie, go check your uncle, go check your aunt, go check your brother because he's a dumbass and he's saying stupid ass shit. Now we need y'all.
Right. All we need you is to call the bullshit out.
All we need y'all.
Don't go with the bullshit.
Yeah.
That's it.
We don't need y'all. We don't need y'all to take accountability. We just need y'all to shut the fuck up.
And do the right thing.
But that's so hard for you guys. It's so difficult, bro.
Why does my son have to take accountability for something happened in the past? Why do myself, my family, and my kids have to take on those stereotypes that your ancestors created, that you perpetuate every single day, that you throw in our face every single day?
At this point, it's becoming, again, like it seems like these people have and I'm not saying it to be funny.
They're trying to protect their whiteness.
But it seems like they have a mental disability, like they're not able to comprehend basic level, simple shit that literally kids can comprehend, bro. And they want to say, well, kids don't teach. Yo, kids, I have a 3-year-old son, bro. He's a very smart kid. Kids in general are smart. Mm-hmm. They can comprehend.
They're not biased.
Yeah, they can comprehend and see the difference between black, white. Like they can, But for some reason, when you ask an adult, I don't see race, I don't see color. It's like, shut the fuck up,
That's
bro.
so stupid. That's the most retarded rebuttal. I don't see color.
Right? Are you like, again?
Unless you're colorblind, you fucking see color.
Again, it seems like these people
Period.
are mentally.
They're sick.
There's something wrong with them mentally.
Oh, bro, I just thought of something. I was talking to my father-in-law, and he had mentioned a Native American saying about a sickness.
Yeah.
And I forgot what he...
It's a disease, bro.
I forgot what he said, but he said the Europeans that came over and dominated the Native Americans, they all were sick. And they had... I forgot the term, and I'm so pissed that I can't think of the term right now. But it's pretty much to where they are not... They don't see humanity anymore.
Yeah.
I forgot. It was a Native American term. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna talk about that next episode.
Yeah.
But it's a Native American term where you look into a person's eyes and you can tell that they lost their humanity, but they're still functioning and destroying people.
Yeah.
And taking lives and stealing children and killing women and all this back 500 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was very powerful because that's literally what's going on today.
Yeah.
It's a sickness.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a sickness. When you lose your humanity, and you can justify murder of other people based off of man-made laws.
Bro, it's like Get Out. Those people were sick. There was something wrong. They were sick. There was something wrong with them. It's almost like that, bro. And it's I didn't like Get Out initially when it came out, but I think I need to go back and watch it. And I think I would, just thinking about it now, I'd probably appreciate it a lot more, because it's like there's a lot of, I think, nuances in that movie that have been playing out for years, but now is like really clear as day. It's like, yo, those people were sick. A lot of these people are sick.
They are.
If you lack the compassion and empathy for these people in these situations, there's something wrong with you, bro. There really is.
They have no humanity.
So
They have no humanity, bro. It's,
yeah.
You know, I don't think you can go any farther than that. You just have no humanity.
No humanity, bro.
You know, but I think we should wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's been a crazy couple weeks with all this news going on. You know,
Yeah.
R.I.P. DMX, the icon,
R.I.P.
the legend.
R.I.P. Dante Wright.
R.I.P. Dante Wright. R.I.P. the 13-year-old kid in Chicago. These people didn't deserve to die so young. It's unfortunate. You know, we're going to send out positive energy to the families that are grieving. And, man, hopefully we don't have to talk about these type of issues.
Bro, and I was just going to say, although, you know, our platform is what it is and it's driving while black and we're bringing light to these issues, bro, we don't want to fucking talk about this shit.
No, I don't.
Like, we don't enjoy talking about this stuff. It's things that I think when they happen, it's good to get it out and let it out. But ultimately, we're not excited to come on here and...
No, we're not. This is a part of our...
This is the trauma and grief we're talking about.
And our therapy session.
Yeah.
Like, we got to talk about it because clearly the world don't want to hear how we feel about it.
Right.
Every time we tell the world how we feel about it, we're told to shut up. We don't know anything.
Right.
You know, whatever the case may be. And it's like, yo, like, you have no humanity. And you know, we're using our platform to get out these emotions, how we feel.
Right.
And like you said, we don't want to talk about these things.
Right.
This is not something that I look forward to.
Yeah, not at all.
You know, but it is something that needs to be told, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be discussed to our people. You know, and create that awareness.
Yes, sir.
I think that's another one, brother.
All right, brother. Another one in the bag. Thank y'all for riding with us once again. We will see you on the next one.
We out.
Peace.